morning, everyone. It's Friday, August 7th, 2009. I wanted to give you an update on what's going on with Felicia. This has been one heck of a storm to try to forecast. Models have been very inconsistent over the last 48 hours with it. We know from the storm track exactly what the hurricane is doing, but as far as how much swell that's actually kicking up, well, that's a point of contention across the models. So I wanted to give you everything as an update of what I know right now and what I'm expecting for the weekend. This is what's going on right now. Taking a look at the satellite picture this morning, we can see that Felicia is still a very well-defined storm. Enrique, just a blip on the radar. If we zoom in, take a closer look at Felicia, we can see that it's a very well-defined hurricane. This morning, blowing winds at about 100 knots. It did peak out here a couple days ago at about 120 knot winds. So we know how strong the storm has been. We know where it's going, where it has been. This is the track from the National Hurricane Center showing that right now it's headed off toward Hawaii and it will be weakening. If we take a look over the last few days of the storm track, and this is an image from the University of Hawaii, down here in the bottom you can see the yellow and red line. That's Felicia's storm track. It was moving at a northwest trajectory over the last couple days, and it wasn't quite below Southern California, so a lot of energy was thrown away from us. The point of contention now is how long did it sit in any one place, how much fetch did it kick up, and that's what's going to be reflected on the wave models, and that's where the point of contention comes in this morning. Not all wave models are in agreement. This is a look at the FN Mach models. This is showing Felicia as a very strong system, similar to what I posted yesterday, about 25 plus foot seas, not that far away from Southern California right now, only about 1,000 miles away from us. Moving those models forward in time, we can see that that fetch would be moving somewhat toward the north, not really in agreement with what the storm track has been showing. Of course, that doesn't have to be the case since this is the fetch, not the storm necessarily itself. But if we take a look at the NCEP models, that's where things get a little bit different. So here's a take a look at the NCEP models this morning, showing Felicia is just a blip. You have to look real close to see it down there. Only about maybe 15-foot seas at most, according to this model, thinking that that's how much fetch is actually going to be produced by the winds and the recent storm track that Felicia has taken. Moving those models forward in time, we really don't see much. It shows it moving out toward Hawaii, but not a lot as far as waves that be produced from that, not a whole lot of swell that would be thrown our way. So this seems to be the worst case scenario with nothing that would be headed toward our area. So going back, taking a look once again at those FN Mach models, this seems to be the best case scenario, although I do put a lot of trust within these models. If we take a look at how much energy is going to be coming out of this, we can see this. This is the period models. We can see, once again, that little bit of southern hemi energy. That's going to be coming in no matter what on Saturday and Sunday. So we're going to see that swell over the weekend, probably about chest high or so. Felicia's energy, though, you can see that starting to be shot away from our area as we move the models so forward in time. We can see that Felicia's energy would be progressing more, and some of that tail end would hit Southern California. And so this is a look at Saturday morning when a lot of that energy would be coming in, both from the Southern Hemisphere and from Felicia as well. So taking a look at the wave charts, these are some of the wave charts that I run over at wavecast.com. These are all free and you can check them out anytime. These are modeled every night off the data that comes from the NCP, same as those models that are really showing that worst case scenario. So it's not really showing what I think is really going to happen on Saturday, although this is showing that we'll at least see some chest high surf coming in on Saturday and Sunday. But running the numbers by hand, and this is actually done using the swell calculator that I have over at wavecast.com, and taking into account the numbers that are coming off the FN Mach models, looks like we'd be seeing face heights probably around 4 feet. That would be angled from 220 degrees. Wouldn't have as much angular decay as what's thought from the NCEP models, so we'd still see something that would come in possibly chest high. Some of the better case scenarios off this show it being even larger. But I'm not that confident in some of these best case scenarios showing that we're going to get quite a bit out of this. I think the FN Mach models are overplaying it quite a bit. Just taking a look at the storm track, it still doesn't make a lot of sense. Most of this energy being thrown away from our area. Taking into account a high degree of angular spreading decay out of this, I'd say definitely about chest high surf. We're going to be seeing some southern hemisphere swell anyways around then, and it could be also that we see some pluses that come out of Felicia, and the combined seas could actually be head high at times. But I'm not going to call for overhead surf at this time. I could be wrong, but I'm not going to go ahead and put my money on it. In fact, I'm going to stick with that chest high for the average set at least, coming in on Saturday. Decreasing then on Sunday. Looks like also we'll be seeing our winds diminish some. Bear in mind that we will be in a tidal swing over the weekend. So if you wake up and you're in the early morning sessions at that dawn patrol, you may see some smaller size. We're going to see an extremely low tide. Then around mid-morning toward late morning, we should see some tidal push, and that may help size out a lot of it then too. The timing of Felicia's swells looking to actually hit sometime late tonight, Friday night, into Saturday morning. Of course, that's all estimated off a lot of ifs, and we don't know exactly hour by hour what's been happening as far as that fetch is concerned. So my bet would be that around mid-morning on Saturday, looks like that's your best chance to see some chest to head high sets coming out of Felicia. It looks like the periods will probably be about 13, maybe 14 seconds by then. Southern hemisphere swell right around 16 seconds. Should also see a little bit of northwest wind swell come in over the weekend, but not a lot. So that's my call, and I'm sticking to it. If you want to get the latest ETAs on all the swell, wind, weather, tide, more, just check out my SoCal Surf Report at wetsand.com.